Hey guys, what's up? So today I'm back with another video. We are going to actually learn about recursion. This is the topic which actually confuses people a lot of time. So I think I should cover this, and that's why we are going to do that. So first of all, I will create a file which is, we call it recursion.py. Okay, and as usual, I will do this, and then I will explain what recursion is. So basically what recursion is, we can say, so if you're using two different mirrors, you're using two different mirrors and you're putting them face to face parallelly, I mean facing each other, right? And any object that comes in between those, right, in between those mirrors, suppose I have two mirrors, and my a person comes in between those two mirrors, so my face will be on both the mirrors recursively, right? I mean, you will see this mirror and the face, and in then another other mirror the face, and the both reflections on both the mirrors, right? So that's what recursion is. Let me give you an example of how recursion works, so it would be much easier for you to understand. So we will do something like this, right? So I will say def, let's take an example of a factorial, right? Factorial num, right? This is my factorial number, and I will provide a function, a value which is x parameter, which will you have to define, and then uh, what I will do, if x, the value of x is equals to 1, right, it should return 1, right? Now if now else there's an else, what else does, if return, I mean else will just do a return, I will say x multiply by factorial num, and then x, then minus 1, right? That's how we do the factorial part, if you remember in back in maths classes. So now what I will do, I will say num, uh, okay, so I will define, say number equals to 5, right? I want to have the factorial of this number, so I will say print factorial is, right? So what I will do, I will say print factorial is, then the factorial num, right? And I'm passing the value number here, right? Because as we remember, we have this as a parameter. So if I pass this over here, it will give me the factorial number, right? Now I will save it, and what I will say, I will say Python 3, Python 3 recursion.py factorial num. What's the problem? Okay. Oh, sorry. I have to put this. It's not a same string. I have to put something like this. Yeah. And then if I do this, factorial is 120, right? So this is how it goes, right, for the recursion. Now that's one thing, right? So this is how we do the recursion. Now I will say def recursion, right? And there is an inbuilt method or any inbuilt function that we can call. We can say recursion, right? What we are saying, we are just repeating this, right? And we say recursion. Okay, so what we are trying to do is we just keep going through this. In the depth we have to go till the depth. So I will say recursion.py. It says it repeated 996 more times, right? It just throws me the recursion error, maximum recursion depth exceeded. So what this means, the objective of showing this is basically you can understand how the recursion works, right? So I think that's pretty much understandable, right? And now we will do something like discuss a bit about why should we use this recursion and why should not. So recursion basically is a function that actually gives you more cleaner look you can write your code much cleanly and in much of a better way actually. So basically every recursion does I mean using recursion has its another value to it. It adds value to your code basically. So you don't have to write the whole code actually to just for find the factorial of something. What you can do is do something like this, right? And this will just give you the recursion. So here we have performed the recursion, right? And so if we have to write this in another way, the simpler Pythonic way, it is actually Pythonic way, but I mean in much elaborative function, it would come up to like 10 or 5 or 10 lines, right? It more than this much. I mean it will be a big program, maybe it takes 10 lines or 12 lines. So this made your life easier, right? Now it also actually helps you actually break down a complex. You can use it in the case when you have a very complex task and you just want it to break down, and like your simple sub problems, and you want them to be solved. You can use recursion in that case. Also when you want to have something like a sequence generation, and it is basically very easy with recursion, right? And you don't have to do nested iterations. For example, if you have written you want to do something like this, right? What you want to do, you want to have something like I have this number and then I have this number, and I want to make let's say I want to just make a whole iteration to go for to 17 numbers or 18 numbers line backwards, or put the whole line I mean use generate a whole set of numbers, right? So in that case I will use recursion, right? Now there is these are the actual advantages. Now when it comes to disadvantages, it's actually sometimes the logics that you are using, it could be hard to follow up, and the recursive calls are expensive actually. They are a bit of inefficient because they take a lot of memory. So in case you are doing a very big running recursion of very big set of number, you might want to go to the opt for a simpler or much non-complex ways, or non memory hogging the method or code. So and then also the functions, when you are making a recursive function, it makes your life a bit harder when it comes to debugging the function. So try to use recursion only when you have not a lot. I mean you don't have to have a lot of complex scenarios. I mean, and it not, you are sure that there will be no usage of or no higher usage of memory, or we can say when your program is not going to use a lot of memory. So in that case you can use recursion, and you don't want to use it. I mean I would not suggest to use recursion in very complex situations, or carry very format for complex functions, because in that case recursion would give you a hard time, as I said, in debugging. So use it at on your own discretion, and also make sure that you do have this idea of like what recursion could be. So I will, in just to make sure that you guys understood this, I will just make a list of, I will just make a quick doc string of recursion, right? And I will say here I will just put something like this, and this should give you a reason, I mean much better advantage on this. And see, this can help you like how to use recursion and when to use recursion and when to not. So in case you have, so that's all for the recursion. In case you have any questions, queries or concern, feel free to comment. And if you did enjoy this video, please like, share and subscribe, and I will see you again in the next lesson. Till then, goodbye and take care.